Boom. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another political recap stream here on the Moisky Live channel. I think we should be live. I think. Joining me as always to discuss some things. It might be political. Who knows? It's a lottery at this point. Is my gorgeous, delicious host, co-host, Trupsy Wupsy. Say hello, Trups.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. It's a Friday.
It's been 2 weeks as well. What have you been up to?
Yes. I went and did my LARP thing.
How was it?
It's always good. It's my escape from real life, which is necessary for the everyone's mental. If you don't get a chance to escape from real life, I recommend you get a hobby that allows you to do that. Because I don't know how people live without hobbies. Really.
Yeah, I can fully understand that. If you can't make time for a hobby, make time. Honestly, you'll find such a nice, cathartic sort of release from with it, and also
Yeah.
it repurposes you a bit, so you don't become just absorbed with work and you forget to live your life because of that's a Jim Carrey quote. Yes.
Yes. I mean, he wasn't entirely wrong, and as much as I disagree with his politics, when it comes to life advice, he's got stories to tell.
He has, and I have nothing but respect for that. And I don't really mind his performance as Robotnik.
I'm gonna go see that tomorrow. I'm gonna go see the second one tomorrow.
I didn't mind the first one, so I will happily watch the second. I
will let you know what I think.
Please do. I just want them to insert one sly remark because it will definitely kill the meme. Do you know the way? That's what I want to hear once. Just once.
In fucking Idris Elba's voice.
Yes, I mean it would actually work, to be honest.
I mean, they put Sonic in the first one, so they're not,
yeah,
opposed to putting in memes.
I think it'll work. I could be wrong.
I think so.
Has Trups been up to anything else then?
Not a whole lot, no. Other than that, that was. Oh well, yeah. I also chipped my tooth. That was fun.
F in the chat. F in the chat.
Yeah.
It's a medical emergency. I have dentist next week. Actually, you said that. I've got. I have my every 6 months you get a checkup, and mine's on the 20th.
Well, I hope yours goes better than mine.
Mine should be. My teeth feel fantastic. If I break a tooth, I promise you, no one ever notices. We're British. It's just we're meant
fair.
Remember, we're meant to have ruined teeth after all. It's just coincidental. All mine are nice and straight and white and looking healthy. No.
So you don't actually fit the mold very well.
No, I don't. I don't. No. I have a tooth missing at the back, right near a wisdom tooth, but that's about it. But the wisdom tooth fits in my mouth, so it's quite comfortable.
Good.
So I, myself, have had a busy week with YouTube, but I have acquired something that I'm hoping to test on Sunday. It's called an audio mixer. For the microphone.
Now what is that for the uninitiated?
This is a device that should help me improve my audio quality for streaming. But also in video form, as it has EQ settings, compression, preamp settings, and a few other settings. Actually, I don't know anything about them. There's an instruction manual. Okay, I'm going to read it because I need to. I have no idea how to use this. But what I did was I had £290 in £2 coins in a savings box called the New Guitar Fund, but I didn't want a new guitar. So I spent about 60 quid on this to learn how to use one because the one I wanted wasn't in stock. I was like, okay, then I'll just buy this one and learn to use it. And then at a later date, if this does work well, I'll get a better one in the future. Yeah.
Well, that works out.
Yeah, I hope so. Because if it's an affordable one that does work, there's nothing saying I can't then recommend others to get it.
Indeed.
And it isn't too expensive, so I'll, of course, get back to people on it.
Contrary to what you see on Twitter, not every content creator hates the other content creator. Sometimes we do, in fact, help each other.
I don't hate any creator, to be honest. There are creators I have very little respect for these days. Yes, but I don't hate them. I just think they're either lazy, I think they are ill-informed. I think they are
Mm.
reactionary. And I think they're grifters. All four of those
Mm.
apply to the quartering.
You
No, no.
really do not. You really are not a fan, aren't you?
Sorry, but the man pisses into a grate in the corner of his basement. Come on.
I
No, no.
mean,
I mean that is true.
I
Well,
was just saying, there could be worse things. He could
I,
just piss on the floor.
I mean, he could piss into a bottle and stick it on his desk. It doesn't matter to me, but he's lazy.
That's fine.
That's just my main complaint. But I have to be jealous because the guy gets the views that I do not. I'm quite jealous of that aspect. Sorry, but it doesn't change my disdain towards his laziness.
Mm.
Also, he doesn't look after his beard, man. Come on, just
Yeah,
learn to
I
comb.
do. That is my one criticism that I can levy like off the top of my head. I feel like every other criticism that I could levy, I should have receipts for.
That's a fair point. I thankfully can't be asked to go and get any because I'm also quite lazy. Because I spend most of my time making a video as opposed to him. Just saying. Anyway, where would you like to start this week? Would you like to start in the United Kingdom, Ukraine, somewhere else, America?
Oh, that's a I feel like that might be a loaded question.
No, 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 no.
Well, let's start with American things because there are some small little things that we can touch on.
How's Biden doing these days? Is he still alive?
Oh, Biden is. He is. As much as you could say alive.
Charitable.
Yeah. He. So the thing that people are talking about the most right now with Biden is that he appeared to shake his hand with nobody.
Oh, thin air. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
that was up there. That was up there when Obama was on stage with him. Made a few jokes about being the president in the past, or Obama did.
Oh yeah, well,
and then everyone crowded around Obama, didn't they? And Biden turned around and was like, "Okay."
Well,
I thought that was
I've
funny.
made the comments before. I've made the comments before that I still think this is elder abuse.
So I should now say I do when you watch the full clip of the Obama bit. When everyone went to Obama and Biden was left on his own, Biden did actually, straight after, call someone over to talk to them about something. It wasn't a case of, oh, look at me, I'm on my own, I'm a dirty old man. Not quite. There's a bit more to it. But in the context of him going to shake someone's hand and there was no one there, what was that about? I couldn't work it out. I couldn't understand why he did it in the first place. Also, didn't he claim to be a professor somewhere for 4 years when he didn't work there?
I wouldn't doubt it. He makes up shit literally constantly.
It was a fact checked an article. I'll have to go look, but he claimed to work at a university.
Oh well, false.
Oh yeah, a full professor at the university. Yeah, here we are. He shook hands with Thin Air and claims to have been a full professor at the University of Pennsylvania, despite having never taught a class there.
Yeah, that's a big yikes, I think.
Is this like serving in the military?
Yeah, or driving a truck. I think he also said recently that he did.
You mean like the self-driving one where it was self-driving, but it was someone else driving it?
Well, allegedly, according to him, he drove a truck, like at some point, and apparently, actually, like, you know how you do your trucking videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, he claims to have literally done that in a professional sense.
What?
Yeah, no. I think he sometimes, like, I'm gonna give him, a bit of a benefit here. There are times when I have dreams and they feel really real.
Yeah, I do too. And then I find it's just because I kicked a cactus in my sleep.
I am a young lad, however, and I can probably tell when the dream is a dream and not real life. This man may not be able to tell.
There is that distinct possibility. I stand by. I agree with what you've said before when it comes to Biden being in office. I know, but when people say, "Oh, but it was either him or Trump," you're not winners either way, really, are you?
I think a lot of people would rather Trump right now.
Thank you to Stuart Turner for the incredibly generous donation of $19.99. Everyone, please say thank you. I'd appreciate it. It really helps. And
Thank you, Stuart.
I have a cat on my lap. This is not going
Oh, good.
to go well.
My cat does not like to sit on laps.
Whenever I stream, this cat meow. Okay,
Yes,
she's not
I
meowing.
understand.
Yeah, she will even on Twitch. Follow me there, by the way. She literally will be on my lap. But yeah, I agreed with you when we first started noticing things were a bit weird. The
Yeah.
constant falling over and the speeches, the looking like he was falling asleep. The fact his face looks like it's been stretched and held back with clothes pegs. It it felt like elder abuse because even when he did debate, it was very much his campaign against Trump was a less is more thing. He wasn't as present. He couldn't be as present because to do so would mean being awake for more than, I don't know, 3 hours a day. But to keep him alive, he has to spend time, I assume, in a regeneration pod. I don't understand how, and it is elder abuse because, well, we already know his flagship plans failed. Beep.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what's he in office for now then? Because there's nothing else he can really do.
Oh, I mean, it's very clear that he is just there as a stand-in.
By the way, I
Um,
find Biden interesting, but I found him more
mhm.
interesting when he was vice president because at least then he could talk. Now
Yeah,
he
I
can't.
agree.
Now though, when he talks, it's pushed. It feels forced, and it feels like he's genuinely struggling even when he's just started. And we said this as well when he did was it the city hall stuff, the town hall thing?
Yeah,
Uh,
the town halls.
yeah, and he was put under the mic, under the scrutiny for a little bit, and they had the chance to scrutinize him, but I feel like even they held back because they knew
Mm-hmm.
damn well he can't, and and
Hold
as
it
it's
together.
mentioned, it's a senile thing, I believe, where he clearly can't clap back as well as others. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, we all have that eventually. If someone throws something your way and you can clap back, you've still got it. If you have to then take a
Right.
minute or a day to come back, no. Or if you have to use a point that's not even connected, which is what Biden does, you've
Yeah.
lost the argument. This is senile, pure and simple.
Mm-hmm.
And he shouldn't be. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't be in office because it still amuses me. But when the midterms happen, this will be how we find out just how bad he has done in 2 years.
Oh, I mean, we can see right now, just with how he has addressed some of these issues that we are facing as a country right now.
Yeah.
Take the 8.5 consumer price index that came out, I think,
What's
earlier this
that?
week. So consumer price index is an average cost of all the things that exist, right?
Right.
All the things that a consumer would purchase.
Okay.
Well, they recently came out with the new numbers from March.
Okay.
So the price changes during March. And it turns out that we are now, so I believe it was like 7.6 or something like that when we had spoken last. Well, now we know it to be about 8.5, I think it was.
Now, what does that mean?
So that means that on average, all of the things, including gas, food, regular things, they're all on an average 8.5% more expensive than they were a year ago
Really?
at this time.
So
So
that makes
things
sense
that
because
you
one of my mods, Wildling Darling, she was telling me yesterday
Mhm.
she was buying cleaning
Yeah.
supplies to do a house, and the prices
Yeah.
had gone right up.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these things were every day. There was clearly no shortage because your country has everything anyway, you know. And it's
Well,
just the
yeah,
pricing. Yeah, capitalism, nothing wrong with that.
sure.
But prices have gone up quite a bit, and it's a big concern. And even though it's something inconsequential, in retrospect, actually, it's quite important because it's showing where things are going up
Right.
and where it's hitting
And that
hardest.
that kind of stuff right now is very much in the forefront of a lot of people's thoughts because our wages obviously cannot keep up with 8.5%, right? That would be unrealistic to expect any company to suddenly eat the cost of paying their employees, on average, all employees, 8.5% more than they were getting the previous year to keep up with inflation. There's no reasonable way to actually do that.
Okay.
You can't expect it. So right now we have a vast majority of the country who is lacking the ability to make ends meet. Well, I don't. Maybe that's a little too um, too dire. But the idea being that they are not being able to afford the same things. Their paycheck is not going as far. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Which is a seriously concerning thing.
If wages aren't going to match inflation,
Mm-hmm.
how bad will this get in, let's say, a year's time?
It's possible that we're looking at like a major recession.
Another
At
one.
the very yes.
Oh dear. I see a housing
At the
market
very
crisis
least,
then.
and at the very most, an actual depression.
Oh dear. It wasn't that long ago we had a recession of sorts. Or in our country, austerity because of an economic crisis, and your country is no exception, although I do believe you found a way around it. It's not a good look for any president then. Even you can't even blame Trump for this one, can you?
At a certain point, you might have had an ability to do so, and I will give people that. But at this point, no, I don't
No?
believe they have much of a leg to stand on. Previously, you could have said, okay, well, the initial stimulus plans did come out under Trump, so at the very least, some of the inflation is his fault. Which, okay, fine. However, the follow on to that being that, okay, well, you have X amount of dollars that have been continued to be spent
Right.
underneath Biden and in pursuit of democratic policy positions, without regard of the impact that that would have on the country, that you can blame him.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. I just want to read something from the chat. It will be worse than the depression. I promise you, far worse. You're right, because some of them will have access to Twitter.
Maybe.
I'm joking. I obviously don't want to guess whether or not something can be as bad or worse than something that is already a horrendous moment in history. I don't think anything should be compared to it because of that. I would hope that this finds a way to be resolved. I'm not entirely sure, though, how. What do you think the president could do to try and fix that? What could he do?
So right now, one of the biggest causes is that we as a country are we are still putting a lot of restrictions on on some companies, usually in the context of they want to do like um, fucking like green energy policies, for instance. That is
Right.
one of the things.
Okay.
So one of the other things that you could say that might help is if we had opened up our oil, kept our oil pipelines in place. If we had done things like, um, I mean, ironically, one of the biggest issues right now is the supply chain problem because of the sanctions on Russia, which um, because we're not getting like fertilizer and stuff like that, which is going to cause a major issue when it comes to food. So we're going to be planting here in like a month or so, and then harvest in autumn is going to be really, really bad because we're not going to have the same kind of fertilizer.
The
Imports
yield
from
will be
Russia that we
definitely
normally- right.
affected. The yield will
Definitely.
definitely, yeah. That's not going to be an easy one to compensate for.
Now, I don't know. I mean, what could the president do? He could release some of those sanctions, but at this point, doing that would be I think it would show weakness.
I think if he changed his green policy, it would show that it would show weakness to core Democrat voters, so that would be an issue. Um,
Well, I don't know if he's really on board with the green policy things either, though.
no, but
Um,
but for the sake of Democrats being in office, do you think he'll
mhm.
do what's good for the country or good for the party?
I think he's going to do whatever's good for him.
So what's good for Biden?
His own pocket, his own money. So
Yeah,
the
I
things
forgot about
that
that.
his son is into.
How
So
much
in
how much
that
money's
case,
Hunter Biden got allegedly?
millions, millions.
Yeah, I'd heard I saw a tweet from Fane because somebody said it was a lot of money, and Fane was like, "No, that's just a lie." Like, but it's kind of true.
Is it though?
It's kind of it's
Is
kind of
it
true. It's kind
though?
of true. It's been proven true. Sorry, Fane, I love you, but it's true.
Yeah.
Um,
So like what could Biden do at this point? I
yeah.
don't know if Biden can pull back this issue. Um, at the very least, he needs to stop pushing for these billions and trillions of dollars of spending, and he needs to revert back to Trumpian policy and start building things in this country.
So that I
Um,
don't understand why some politicians are so against doing what's best for your country. In the United Kingdom, we are fundamentally in favour of it. We proved that because we voted majority for Brexit. Whether you agree for it or not, I know, but that not being tied to something else governing us is very
mhm.
important to the majority that voted for it. And I think when Trump was voted in, I remember him saying he wanted it more about what America could do for itself. That's why you end up with the world's largest stockpile of cheese, which I thought was hilarious because some of that
Do we
didn't count
have
as real
that?
cheese. You did. You had the world's largest stockpile of
Oh, the
cheese.
Velveeta
There you go. You knew exactly
fake
what.
cheese, right?
Yeah. Well, no,
Fake cheese, which
I think you
kind of
did.
tastes
I
good.
think you did have real cheese as well, but it was just the brag of that, and it was that thing of you guys were going through a bit of I don't know, it seemed more productive. And having your own oil, living on your own within your own means, and
Yeah.
that's important. If you can't do that, then why are you outsourcing? Because it's not saving you money. It's not making you new friends either. They're just using you anyway.
Well, see, that's I think the problem with a lot of these policies is that when we start outsourcing jobs, what
Just
we
got
gain
jibs.
out of the deal, what we gain is so minimal in comparison to the countries that we outsource the jobs to. They gain like value wise so much more than we do. What we gain is the luxury of having cheaper goods,
Yeah,
which is fine, I suppose, but not a whole lot when you consider the current inflation problem. Okay, now we're not so much in cheaper goods anymore. Um, but the other thing is that a lot of these I'm going to be perfectly straight with you. A lot of these politicians have foreign
interests.
interest.
Yeah, we have it in our
Yeah,
country as well. Yeah,
yeah.
it's why
But
some
like
reluctant to sanction Russia. Can't imagine why.
oh, of course, can't imagine why
Yeah,
politicians are supposed to be, on board with, helping their people, right?
is that
Hmm.
noggin jogging yet?
Oh God, I made this comment actually at work to one of my coworkers. I was like, I can't stand it that some of these companies out there do things that are not only outright blanketly illegal, but the government knows that they do it, and the basis of why they never get any kind of disciplinary action is because okay, let's say company X does a thing that's illegal
Yeah,
and the government sanctions them for it. So what happens is the people who were in charge or who were like the sponsors of said bill, well, that company isn't going to endorse your campaign anymore. They're going to endorse somebody they can buy. And at
yeah.
that point, you lose your seat, and somebody who is corruptible takes your spot. Takes your spot. and that's how you have companies that really should not have nearly as many scandals, and still be one of the forefront, companies that our government contracts with.
Yeah.
But that was one of the comments, and my coworker said, "I don't want to sound like I'm anti-capitalism because I'm not." And I'm like, "It's not capitalism. This is corporatism."
Some people don't understand the differences.
True.
They don't understand what's that word for? Oh, it was so popular, like anarchist, communist, something or whatever.
Oh,
Uh,
it's
Anarcho-communist.
anarcho-communism.
Yeah, some people don't
Yeah.
understand that either, or the socialist group as well, and then saying,
Hmm.
ah, yes, but systems like the NHS is socialism in action. It's not. It's not.
Well, yes, but also no. Like,
It's yes and no.
right. It's essentially you've just made a private entity funded by the government, and
Yeah.
you, that's not better.
No, no. I mean, our government is in the process of selling off more assets. That's typical of a conservative government anyway. They will do that because then they think it's better. The services don't generally
Mhm.
disappear, but the power to run them is gone. And that's the issue we have. Conservatives don't
Mhm.
understand this because they have monetary interests in those companies.
Right.
And this is where it becomes quite tricky because generally they're sold off because either the country can't afford to maintain them or
Mhm.
because we can't afford to improve them. Problem is when they're sold
Mhm.
off, they're not maintained and they're not improved either. So why'd you
Mhm.
do it? The only people that benefited were the people that paid for it and get money via stocks.
Right. As mentioned by our lovely chat, who also
Yes.
is on quite the same page there.
Yeah, I
Quite.
noticed actually. Hello, chat. And yes, Michael, Tilly, the cat here, she's now tucked her head under my chin, under my beard actually, and she's.
Oh, cat.
I put pictures on
Oh,
our
look,
server
my
actually.
cat just walked in the room too.
Look at the server we work on. There,
Um,
there are pictures there for you.
are you showing the cat?
No, I put them on the server for you.
Oh, good, good. I thought you were showing the cat
Oh
the
no, I'm not.
server.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not showing. I'm not showing the cat the server. She wouldn't look at it anyway. She's too busy trying to lick my headphone.
Oh, oh my God, your cat's wall-eyed too.
Yeah, she's. Yeah.
Your cat has fucked up eyes too.
Yeah.
So does
Yeah.
mine. Anyway, so
Yay.
so that whole conversation happened, and I was like, okay, cool, cool. I'm not the only one at work who is like aware.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I'm happy about that. But that's the main reason why I don't think that we're going to be able to get ourselves out of this recession right now. We might have to slug it. But the question is, what can we do to mitigate the impact of this inflationary crisis?
Yeah.
And also, we have to presume at the best case scenario is that the inflation is what they say it is, and they're not lying. That is possible. So that's also a consideration to get the noggin jogging, that there might also be some some lies sprinkled in there.
More than likely, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that's what we're looking at right now in terms of like an internal problem. We'll see how it goes, I suppose. I hate that that's how I kind of just have to look at that, but here we
Well,
are.
unfortunately, in a number of instances, we have to let this play out, really, don't we?
Hmm.
As much as we want
Yeah.
to be able to say something, it's not going to do anything, really, is
Well,
it?
the biggest problem is that, like, okay, well, what's your solution? I don't know. I've never had enough governmental
Yeah.
power to be able to say, oh, if you talk to this person and access this fucking, committee or whatever, that you can suddenly fix all the problems. I don't
Mm.
know that. But clearly, the people who are in government who do know this information aren't doing it. So
Understandably, to be honest.
at the very least, our economy is going to be probably fucked for the next at
Well, your
least
economy's been
year.
struggling for a while because every year you're having those. Was it the budget approvals end up ending with a what do you call it, shutdown?
So that doesn't actually like is not indicative of our economy doing poorly. That's indicative of our government working poorly.
Okay, corrected.
Like the budget thing, the reason why it doesn't pass isn't because we don't have the money. It's because some people want to spend money on X, and the other people want to spend money on Y,
Yeah,
and the other side can't agree about the amount of money spent on the opposite thing.
they never can because of personal interests.
Absolutely, exactly that.
Lovely.
Because politicians do not work for the people.
Well, in that particular political system, it can be proven demonstrably. In my
Hmm.
country, it's little bit slyer. They'll all say, if they're Labour, they'll say they have no outside interests, but they'll have a mountain of them and be making more than they would on their salary. And if they're
Yeah,
Conservatives, they'll just show it to you by wafting it in your face with a caviar-fed fan.
I kind of prefer that.
I'd rather it was shoved in my face, to be honest, because then
Yeah,
there's a
because
chance I could steal off them.
at least that way, I can't add liar to the list of things that makes you a scumbag. Like, I can just say, "Oh, you're a scumbag," but at least you're also not a liar
Hmm.
as well.
Well, on the subject of scumbags, then, how
Uh
about
huh.
let's talk about that. I'm going to quickly just touch on a tweet from Keir Starmer, but then
Oh,
lead on to
good.
something else.
Okay.
The Tories' soft approach to crime lets criminals off the hook and lets victims down. Labour would make offenders pay back to communities and tackle antisocial behaviour with police hubs in every area.
Hmm.
Thoughts?
So, my first thought was, "Hey, you're having crime problems too," and
Adorable,
then
right?
I thought, that's weird. He's saying it's the Tories that are causing the issue, whereas in
Yeah.
our country, it's the Democrats
Well,
causing the
thing
issue.
is, he is ignoring the cities that are predominantly, well, a lot of them are quite Labour held, and they then dictate certain issues. Mayors do, especially with certain crime things.
Hmm.
In London, you can obviously say Sadiq Khan is a
Yes.
problem.
Yeah.
Someone replied to it though with, as someone who studied sociology for nearly 2 decades and won an academic award alongside my first class degree with honours, I can tell you this is a terrible idea. To reduce crime, you need to deal with poverty, not further criminalisation.
There is a sense of truth to that. I don't
Mm.
agree with the premise, but I understand what they're trying to say, and
Yeah,
at the very least, they're not completely wrong.
good.
Yes, low income areas typically do have more crime in them. The solution would, of course, be to bring those people up out of poverty.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure, based on all of the things that I've known from listening to, doing this podcast for 2 years, almost three,
Mm.
combined with all the things that I
Yay.
have heard from you, um, labor doesn't do
No,
making poor
no,
people rich.
no, no, not this. Certainly not this current version. The only way the previous Labour government did was by making it so easy for them to claim every single benefit under the sun that they could, claim enough to live on healthily compared to those that worked. Um, I just found that tweet interesting briefly. I think it does raise a rather interesting debate, I think, but I
Uh
don't think
huh.
go beyond that. Instead, I wanted to talk about two people. Both of them are called Imran Khan.
Okay.
One of them was the Prime Minister for Pakistan. The other
Ah.
was an MP for the Conservatives for the Wakefield constituency. Now, Imran Khan, the Pakistan former Prime Minister, he was, in his younger years, considered a playboy,
Mhm.
universally loved. Then one day, snaps fingers, devoted Muslim, becomes Prime Minister, denounces the West where he spent a lot of time living it
Mhm.
up. He dated Liz Hurley, if you don't know who that is.
Uh,
He
I don't.
She takes her son, her teenage son takes photos of her in bikinis. By all means, say gross, but look at the pictures. He got elected a few years ago, and he was seeking to correct some things, make his country more religious, and denounce the West more, because blame that does everything, right?
Yes, that's what I've
He
heard.
he got a bit of crap of late from oppositions, and they tried to call for a vote of no confidence. And
Hmm.
well, he decided that his party would instead dissolve Parliament and call for a snap election. Um,
Those always work good.
yeah, well, it's rather interesting because what happened was that the vote was considered the election, sorry, was considered illegal, and during a late night cull after the no confidence vote in Parliament, he got ousted from office, making him, well, one of many now in recent memory in Pakistan who have not served a complete term as Prime Minister, which immediately made me think of, maybe think of Australia, oddly enough, because their running joke of not having anyone finish a term is also up there with it.
Hmm.
Swerving go back to the United Kingdom to Tory MP Imran Khan. He, though, has been expelled from the Conservative Party and could now be disqualified as MP because he faces jail time. Do you want to guess what he did?
Uh,
Think of the name and then make a random, somewhat inappropriate profile guess.
Corruption or sexual harassment.
The latter, and you were very close.
What?
Sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy after applying with a gin at a party.
Less woo.
Now, Labour have called on him to resign. He now faces jail time.
Good.
If he receives a sentence of more than 12 months, he will be immediately disqualified from being an MP, which then immediately causes a by-election to take place in West Yorkshire. Oh look, they really are still up there. Now this intrigues me for a number of reasons, but the main reason it intrigues me is because of an MP called Crispin Blunt. Crispin Blunt is a British Conservative politician for the constituency of where I grew up, of Reigate, and this
Mm-hmm.
pissed me off. Right, I love Reigate. I've been there since I was 20, but I love the place. Crispin Blunt, he went after this verdict of guilty. He decided to say that it was a dreadful miscarriage of justice.
Oh, that's some balls.
Ah, he
Do you mean to tell me that he didn't do the thing?
you know, I firmly believe in abiding justice and the criminal justice system. I fundamentally believe, obviously, that I didn't know Imran Khan was in court until the verdict happened. That's how it should be. Um, oh, I got bye, Poppy. Thank you for being here. Sorry, Chops is being overly vague. And you were in
What?
that crime guy. You were in Reigate. Nice.
What do you
So
mean I'm being vague? Hello?
don't know, they're gone. So Crispin Blunt has since then. I love his name,
Oh, companies.
Crispin Blunt. Yeah, I know, right?
Uh-huh.
He's
Now I understand.
he has deleted. I was going to pull up the message, by the way, but according to an article, he actually deleted it because it was on Twitter. Um,
Uh-huh.
after Tory bosses said that his comments were wholly unacceptable, saying that I'm sorry for that my defense of him has been a cause of significant upset and concern, not least to victims of sexual offences. He has also
Huh.
resigned as chair of a cross-party committee of MPs that campaigns for LGBT plus rights around the world, with several
Okay.
members quitting in protest of his statement.
Okay. So
Oh,
I take it this is definitely a yes, he did the thing then. Because
uh,
if the other party members are like, nah, bro, like no, fuck off, get out. then I think you kind of know at that point. Like, friendo.
This is intriguing to me. Khan had actually tried originally to ban media from reporting on this case because he believed his life could be at risk. Now, I didn't know this case was happening until the guilty verdict. That doesn't mean it wasn't being reported on. I just didn't know about it, and that's how it should be. I don't care who you are in which office of life. It should be anonymity and innocence until proven guilty. Well,
I can go with that.
He's been found guilty. Therefore,
okay.
No. You're
means
tar, feather, brush.
You're free to be well, I'm not gonna say harassed.
Harangued.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Harangued by the public for your indecency.
Well, Wakefield, more notably, you've let Imran Khan, the UK politician, not Pakistan, former prime minister, who didn't even serve a complete term, he has let his constituencies down, his party as well. Right. It doesn't surprise me, though, it's in West Yorkshire of all places. Let me just go and confirm something quickly, because my geography's not very good. Let's see. Where's... Oh, look! Rotherham is in South Yorkshire. Rotherham was where the grooming gangs were.
Oh, hey, funny that's
shocker.
That's weird.
Just trying to imagine.
That's a weird one.
Just trying to imagine my surprise, if you can. Can't believe this guy. Right, he's been interesting. Okay, so Crispin Blunt has been the MP for Reigate. I think was it Reigate in Banstead at one point, which is like right next door to us. Since 1997. I moved to Reigate in 1996. I didn't know that. He has held that seat for so long. Damn. Fuck, you're old. Just saying. Isn't he also born? He was born in Germany. He shouldn't be allowed to be in our parliament.
Well, fun story about that. We don't let some people who weren't born in the country be politicians. Like we don't let them be like our fucking president, but we'll let you serve in Congress. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that, but like that is the rule.
Okay, interestingly here. Okay, so there's one thing of interest here I've just noticed. In 2013, Crispin Blunt was deselected by the Constituency Executive Council because of speculation over his public announcement that he was gay, which had to then be overturned by a margin of 5 votes to 1, with him being then reselected. God, things have changed in 10 years, haven't they?
I guess so.
Yeah, I feel sorry for his wife, X. Okay, well that intrigued me. It intrigued me for obvious reasons, and as far as those comments of Crispin Blunt go, he's apologised-ish. He hasn't really apologised. I think he still believes his friend to be innocent. So, it's going to be interesting. See what I'm curious to see the sentence. So with that, anyone that knows me knows that I do halls of injustice. This guy Imran Khan is definitely going.
I was going to say you better put him in one.
But he's not been sentenced yet, so I can't. That's not the only politician of late, though. I swear there was another one who got done recently as well. Let me just go up here. I know that the guy who stabbed David Amos got a whole life term. That was David Amos was a politician as well. I don't know who there was another politician in the UK who got done recently for something. I don't have the sources to hand, but again, politicians to me are they dicks. They're fucking idiots.
Right.
We'll ruin them when we get the chance. Should we talk briefly? I talk briefly. We can talk about this. Boris Johnson went to Ukraine.
Yes, I did hear about that. Good for him.
He also gave Ukraine a vast amount of weaponry.
Good.
And then the next day we find out that a nuclear carrying ship of I was waiting for you. There you go. Go on. Have your moment.
I'm so happy. The fucking I think it was the Mosca. I
Yep,
think,
that's it. It's the
which
Muska.
which is hilarious because that word in Spanish means fly. The word mosca in Spanish is literally like a fly on the wall. So that's hilarious. That's what that is called. Um, but that one got fucking sunk in the Black Sea. Now, the funniest thing about that was less to do about the fact that it happened, which, by the way, is just by itself amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
more interesting than that was the fact that there's two stories behind it. You've got the Russian version, which is there was a fire and
Yeah.
they didn't put it out in time. And then there's the Ukrainian version, which is they launched two Neptune missiles at the thing that ignited some ammunition on deck,
Mm-hmm.
and that was what caused all the fires that then led to it sinking. And I believe I saw a post on Twitter that said this would be the first time in recorded history that a flagship was downed by a country that did not have its own navy.
So you've got here. So there are some Moskva crew defying Russian censors with an unofficial memorial. Ukraine have claimed that all 510 aboard it have died, and US have confirmed the missiles did hit the flagship, which was carrying nuclear weapons.
Oh, that could have been bad.
I mean, it could have been, but well, it still could be, I
We're a little
guess.
better about how we hold those kind of things nowadays. So yeah,
Yeah, just a little bit.
a
I
little
found
bit.
this highly amusing for obvious reasons. Um, this is adding to a list of continual like high-ranking generals that have continually been wiped. How good are these generals if they're all getting wiped out? Clearly, are they walking? Are they walking on some kind of stage being carried on the back of slaves or something? I,
Oh, great question.
they have
No
massive
idea.
arrows like "I'm the boss, have a shot." But come on, the Ukraine also they took out a tank that was a Russian tank that was more heavily
Mhm.
armed than theirs. They I'm sorry, but how are they doing this? What is making
Um,
the Russian tank so special that they must have made of paper?
yeah, it sounds like they are, but again, I reiterate that many of the stories I don't believe. This one's a little hard to hide, so I'm fully okay with like believing this one.
So
That
the other story I'd heard was that it wasn't the Moskva that took out the people on the island that said "Go fuck yourselves,"
yeah,
but apparently
so
they're
that was
still
one of
alive.
the that was the one that went to Snake Island. Yes. Now, of course, it didn't kill all those Marines, which was originally reported, but
Yeah.
yes, that was the boat that basically said, go fuck yourself
Yeah.
from the
By the
Ukrainians.
way, that quote alone had me in
Mhm.
hysterics. I
Oh, it's
remember
still great.
it's. I'm sorry, but the balls on that guy. Come on.
Absolutely. Like, can you imagine being like, I'm facing down certain death, but I'm gonna go down like a goddamn Chad?
And well, rumor is he's not gone down though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he probably didn't know what the fuck to expect, but yeah, lucky for him, all things worked out in his favor.
Yeah. Well, and now guaranteed so because
Yeah,
the
the fucking boat's
Moskva.
dead.
Yeah, the boat. Poor. It's not even up there with Boaty McBoatface. I'm so sorry, Moskva. You're supposedly the flagship. You're the
Oh,
flag.
it was.
You're as disappointing as Bismarck. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, poor Bismarck.
It deserved more respect, but come on.
Oh,
King,
I know.
King of the ocean.
But you
Wiped
can't
out.
you can't give them any more respect. It didn't last very long.
No, it didn't. Someone's going to get really triggered by that.
Oh, I'm
I just want
sorry.
you, whoever's watching it, and you are, I don't care.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm going with that. Like, yeah, good for you.
Well, it tickled me
Um,
nonetheless that we've provided our bit because I did see another article not long after that that said that Biden himself has Biden's now ready to arm Ukraine to the hilt. Germany and France must pull their weight too. That's from Andrew Neil.
now hold on. There is somebody in the chat who says Charlie Church. said that was found untrue. Can you specify which part?
Please do.
Because
Apparently, Biden had a phone call with Volodymyr Zelensky and told him
Mhm.
about America's new $800 million package of military aid for his country. This
Okay.
includes sophisticated heavy duty weaponry,
Uh-huh.
such as 18 howitzer cannons, armored, mobile, and with a 20-mile range.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. What's a howitzer?
Howitzers a artillery, so it like a cannon essentially.
Okay. Okay. Big dick. Gotcha.
Yeah. Big boomstick, big boomstick.
I
That's
Big
land
boomstick. I
based.
like that. So whenever I see pictures of Putin nowadays with this, what's going on? Is it me or does his
Mhm.
face look more and more shriveled up and more like a mouse? For a guy supposed to be
I don't
terrifying, he
know. I
has no
don't
cheek.
look very often at Putin's pictures when he comes up in the in like the
He has such a
news.
small chin. I'm just saying
Yes, he does, and it kind of looks like it's being eaten by his neck. But
it is hairline going further and further back. It's touching the back
I
of his
thought it was. I
ears.
thought he was already bald.
He's desperately clinging on to the few that remain with super glue, no doubt.
Malding. Okay.
Molding. Is
Mad
that
and
the
balding.
that's the Twitch thing, isn't it?
Yes, mad and balding.
Someone had
Balding.
to explain that to me a little while ago and called me a boomer because I didn't know what it was. I was like, they're calling
Yeah.
someone molding, and I'm like, I don't know what this means. Do you not know your memes? Clearly not.
Ha 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 ha. Boomer.
At
Anyway,
least I'm willing to admit it.
it's fair.
Oh, dear. Apparently, oh, excuse me, 2.4 billion on will be on top of that, and that 2.4 billion had already been sanctioned and largely delivered, with U.S. cargo
Uh-huh.
carriers landing close to the border, packed with weapons and other military hardware, which then travels by ground convoy into Ukraine.
Okay.
Um, I find that interesting. I mean, it's interesting if America's, not a shot at you, obviously. If America's stepping up, but then it's $800 million. That's a lot of money to spend. Your country doesn't exactly is having a bit of a financial issue at the moment. Is it wise to do that?
Well, presumably we had this already.
Presumably, yeah.
Like more than likely, we had most of these weapons,
Oh
and they
yeah,
were
yeah.
just
Rather than
there.
spending money, you got a point there actually. Like spares.
Right. So likely this is because theoretically, let's imagine this from like a finance option. You don't have a valid reason to ask for, let's just say, new Tomahawk missiles because you have 100 Neptunes that haven't been used.
I just want a tomahawk
Okay.
steak. Don't care about the rest.
Um, it's like, okay, fine. So we have to use these before you'll allow us to use more. Okay, whatever. Fine. And then they're like, oh, we can offload a whole bunch of this shit to the Ukrainians because they need our stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
we can make money on it. This works. This works for us. I think that's a lot of it because I don't believe that we're giving them much of the things that we would keep for ourselves typically.
Yeah.
I think we're giving them the things that we had in case of like I don't know sudden Afghanistan problems. Shock,
Okay.
lol. Um, that maybe we had the ability to actually use without breaking the metaphorical bank. I say metaphorical because we don't actually care about what we spend.
That is true. You guys don't. You are renowned for this.
Yes, especially when it comes to war. Um, but that's neither here nor there.
War is it seems
Probably.
to inspire you guys a bit. To
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's if nothing else, it is a way in which we make our money.
That is true. You had told me usually under Democrats, that part suffers.
What do you mean?
When we spoke about
Oh,
Republican
yes,
presidents
yes,
and
yes, yes.
Democrat presidents, under Democrats, that aspect seemed to suffer a bit.
Yes, under Democrats, we tend to reduce, or they try to reduce spending for our military because they don't. Well, most of their voters do not, agree with the military industrial complex. Yes, the "fuck you" line was found untrue. Also, those men were taken alive, not killed. Yes, yeah, okay. The "fuck you" line is at least true enough that there is a recording of it. So whether or not that is legitimately X, Y, or Z, that line at least exists, which, from an optics standpoint, that is true. But yes, they did not die. That part is correct. Yes.
Oh, really?
And I think we are, well, the people on Snake Island, they did not die. And I think we did say that.
We did say, yeah,
that.
we did say that, yeah.
Just wanted to be sure that we were perfectly clear. But yeah, so sorry, I got distracted by that. Yeah, war's profitable. So I mean, I'm not necessarily surprised that we sell off our stuff, though 800 million sounds like a lot less than I would have expected us to give. So I'm pretty sure Joe Biden at one point was holding up aid to Ukraine when that Hunter lawyer was supposed to be fired. I'm pretty sure that was like $8 billion in aid, I think.
Do you think perhaps he's holding it back in case of any backlash on America?
No, because the aid is, as opposed to then, the aid wasn't immediately necessary.
Do you think it's because, and I've got a quote, well, I just noticed it in the article I was looking at. Do you think it might be because he has to contend with two types of Democrats, some of whom are more interested in social media presence than a morally grandstanding on foreign policy rather than actually getting involved in foreign policy?
Yes, more to that one, I think.
So that was a reference to, well, Andrew Neil called them the American equivalent to Corbynistas in the UK when Jeremy Corbyn was leader of the opposition. The ideologues who don't quite understand what grown-up politics entails.
Oh, yes. So the AOCs of the world.
I wouldn't know what she does in your country in politics, so let's just say yes and go with it.
That's the funny thing. Nothing.
It doesn't surprise me, because where's that Green New Deal of hers?
I believe it lost all of its traction when they started talking about cow farts.
LOL. Look, if they're gonna get these, if they want to do a cull of cows, get me one tomahawk and I'm happy.
What are you gonna suddenly become a native?
No, steak.
Oh, we could do that, but I wouldn't do it a tomahawk. That's kind of.
I've never had one. I need to have it to know what it's like.
A tomahawk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
I'll take some ribeye as well.
I understand.
Yeah. I'll go blow the steak.
Now you're making me want steak now.
Yeah, I made myself hungry and I regret
everything. Yeah. Why would you do that? Anyway, so yes, we have that. And there was something else that we were going to be talking about.
Oh, Partygate fines.
Oh yeah, that was one of them. There was another one too. So while you talk about that, let me search my brain.
So you what was it? During lockdowns, the UK government got into a bit of trouble because they were caught out having fines. Now, Prime Minister Boris Johnson had said in Parliament he had never knowingly misled the Houses of Parliament at all. Well, it's now been proven that he kinda did. Because he, along with the Chancellor, have been hit with 30 fines at least. Now, because of these what do you call them, misleadings of Parliament and such. You need to leave. That's my view. I made a video on the main channel where I quite clearly stated I believe Boris Johnson should resign because this issue is you can't come back from it. And the longer he's there, the longer he harms the party if the party wants to win in 2024. Same for Rishi Sunak, actually. Any politician that was issued a fine has breached ministerial code, quite frankly. He created laws and didn't abide them. Simple as that. Carrie Simmons, his wife, and Rishi's wife, and they've got their own issues with the nom-dom tax avoiding status bollocks. They need to leave because, and they can't use the Ukraine crisis as a reason to stay. I'm sorry, but that's not how this works. The foreign secretary deals with that anyway. So shut up. We can help Ukraine without Boris in charge, and I can eat all those bloody cows. I promise you that. I will pace myself, and the heartburn will be worth it. So what's happening now is the Tories are refusing to pull the trigger and force Boris Johnson out because of the war. Even though it has been proven now they broke the law and repeatedly lied to the British public. They're making Ian Blackford, the paper pervert, look right and smart and clever. He's a twat, but he's right. I don't like saying it. I don't like saying it, but that's what's happened, and now we have to deal with this shit. And it's entirely their fault. They didn't abide their own rules. That's all I'm going to say. I've got really on that, actually. What was the other thing?
Elon Musk trying to acquire Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I put it in twat today.
I figured we might want to talk about it because it's interesting. And it actually does have political implications.
So, Elon Musk rejected the idea brought forward by the board of directors at Twitter to be a member of the board, where his percentage would be 14 point something percent of all the stock. He rejected this because he wants to own Twitter. He believes Twitter needs to unlock its full and true potential. Others believe that means making it a subscription service. I don't think that's the case. But there may well be a subscription service available. It's called Twitter Blue, after all. I don't think that's what he's trying to do, but I don't know what he is trying to do at the same time, so I can't really comment on it. But he had put an offer of $54 ish per share, roughly 42 to 44 billion. No, is it $41 billion? I believe
it was something like that. Yeah,
and so
I think it was 45.
Yeah, okay, between $40 to $45 billion to buy all of Twitter. So none of this bollocks with a board of directors. No, you can all cough and go home. And I find it interesting. I don't think they'll accept it. Someone said they won't accept it because they want to retain the power and dictate how Twitter is run. That makes sense. But then if you're being bought out, either take a really big sum of money or hold out, I guess. I don't know. It is a power thing. I don't know what Elon Musk is thinking though when it comes to what he believes he could do. So that does intrigue me. Others think they'll leave the platform if Musk takes over, and I'm just sat there like, nah. I can still promote my videos, so I don't give a shit. I've never lost a Twitter account, so I'm not intending on trying to. Hell, I need it for twat.
So it was interesting because a friend of mine had actually messaged me, and he went through all of his thoughts on it. I'm pulling up my phone so that I can I can properly think. Okay, so he said the thing is, if they refuse the offer, Elon can sue them as a majority shareholders. If they refuse, he can dump all 9% in one go and cripple their stock overnight.
People think he's doing that, doing this on purpose, like he was just trying to boost Twitter. By doing it, he's doing it to boost Twitter stock so he can sell it off anyway. I'm sorry, but the guy's the richest man on the planet, worth over $200 billion. I don't think he gives as much of a fuck as you think.
I think that's too short-sighted.
Yeah.
Like, that seems too simple. And he doesn't do things in simple terms. He does them with at least one more thought behind it.
Yeah, look at the bloody kid's name. Come on.
Yeah, right? So he bought like $3 billion worth in stock. And then everyone started freaking out. And they offered him a board position, but they tried to limit him by saying that he had to abide by these certain fiduciary, I think the word was.
Yeah, it was.
And basically, he had to make sure that his actions did not directly contribute to the damage to the company. Okay.
Reasonable.
I don't know if that's a rule that's set for just Elon or the entire board, because they've kind of got themselves in a bit of a catch-22. I haven't looked at much of the news regarding anything that they might have done today, so bear in mind this might be outdated. But provided that this individual, right, Elon, puts forward the offer and the board doesn't put it up to a vote for the shareholders, and they say no, then the shareholders could theoretically then sue the board for not for potentially not performing their
Twitter,
duties
4 hours
in
ago,
doing what is best for the company.
has announced a limited duration shareholder rights plan that may thwart billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's attempts to take over the company. So let's see here. The method known as a poison pill in the finance world suggests that Twitter will fight Musk to prevent a hostile takeover. It would go into effect if a shareholder were to acquire more than 15% of the company in a deal not approved by the board and expires on the 14th of April 2023. In a statement, Twitter says the right plan does not prevent the board from engaging with parties or accepting an acquisition proposal if the board believes that it is in the best interests of Twitter and its shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
Poison pill.
Okay.
That's interesting. Never heard of it.
Sounds straightforward.
Oh, it's 43.4 billion, by the way.
Okay.
Not that it matters. It's still between the 40 and 45. A poison pill plan. That
it's
was updated
still
4
an
hours ago.
exorbitant amount of money that I could not comprehend.
No, I honestly, I'd just be happy with like a Snickers.
Fuck. Well, that's why we don't run companies.
I'd sell Twitter for that. Elon, hit me up. I'll sell you Twitter.
I would sell Twitter for fucking double cheeseburger, bro.
Yeah. No gherkins, though. I don't need that crap in my life.
I just don't think it's worth that much because, well, okay,
right,
this is then the argument. So you have like a Saudi prince coming out and saying, "Oh, it's worth so much more than that." Actually, no. So the company itself is not worth all that much. However, what the company represents is worth a fuck ton. So, being that it is Twitter, the method by which people will, spew their respective garbage onto the interwebs for all to see, including myself.
Yeah.
It is the method by which people interact with one another, consume media, and whether they accept it or not, it is the public town square by which we do often interact and learn things. And at the very least, they have tacitly admitted this, not by verbiage, but by action. And I made one of the posts on Twitter about this, do you remember the time when Tumblr existed? Where all the crazies, they still existed, but they were on Tumblr. Well, news agencies didn't cover Tumblr posts. But then when Tumblr died and all the Tumblr crazies went to Twitter and then started posting crazy shit on Twitter, the media covered it. Why? Because the media covered Twitter, not Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very least, Twitter is a way for individuals to interact with what would be considered the mainstream and basically get their statements out into the open. So whether or not Twitter, the company, is actually worth, 44 billion, it is what that company represents to the rest of the world that makes it something that is being sought after by Elon. And I think that's why he's doing it.
So I've got some things here. Jack Dorsey, when people raised concerns, employees of Twitter, about these purchases of Elon Musk's, has said that as a public company, Twitter has always been for sale. That's the real issue. Musk actually owns 10.3% of the company, and he's currently
Okay.
facing legal action for his purchases, with one investor suing him for failing to disclose his buy-up of shares before the required deadline to do so.
Yeah, apparently that was a thing. He didn't file his paperwork correctly when he did the $3 billion purchase.
Right.
Apparently, it was originally claimed that it was under a passive income shareholding thing, which is a different filing than others.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yes, I have heard that before, and it's a little over my head because I'm not that deep into finance to really get down to the nitty gritty and know what certain terms are. I know about what they're talking about, not what they're talking
Yeah, I'm not involved in any of this at all, so I know nothing.
about.
I'm just
But
happy to be
yes,
here.
there are issues with his purchase, so I hear.
All right.
Now we'll see what that does because I guess the question would be what are the damages that the person would sustain from Elon not disclosing this? I would suppose that it would be lost potential gains, which at that point sounds a lot like insider trading to me,
Yeah.
which I think should be illegal anyway. Um, besides the obvious already illegal insider trading. But I think that if there is a legal method by which finance companies do insider trading that doesn't require, or that is a unique thing to them, I think that's blatantly unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know that fucking Congress does it. It's like, oh, hey, we're gonna pass this bill, or this bill's about to come up. You should probably sell your stock from fucking, I don't know, let's just do Exxon, for example. Like all these Democrats coming out saying, oh, look at all these gas companies. They're not doing what they should be doing with the money that they, with the permits that the federal government. And then you look at them and go, don't you own Exxon stock? Don't you own Shell stock? Aren't you part of the list of fucking investors, the shareholders who you are currently criticizing in your speech, who is getting a payout? Aren't you one of those people? Well, yeah, that would obviously
Yeah.
because they're all scumbags.
Well, they are that. That much is demonstrably true at this point.
But like I have been loving it watching the actual spurgouts on Twitter. All of the blue checks coming out of the woodwork complaining about Elon potentially buying Twitter has been one of the most refreshing and enjoyable experiences that I've had
he's
on
gonna
Twitter.
treat it like the stonks. Shut the fuck up.
What does that even mean?
I think they think he's just gonna treat it like that and throw it away. Make it popular and then just discard it. I think that's their point. That's not what's
Okay.
happening. That's not what's happening. Shut up.
Don't worry. There are other platforms, guys.
Yeah. Go to
Just
Gab.
go
They'll
to
love
Gab.
you. Yeah, they'll love you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Fuck it. No, if you don't like it, make your own Twitter. Fuck you.
Yeah, I would say Truth, but apparently that's more of a blog site.
Fair enough.
I'm not on there, so I can't
the
comment on it.
fair. But the Elon trying to buy it, I have seen so many people who have been like, he's gonna allow free speech. This is terrible. Oh.
Please tell me why
Oh.
this is so bad. I need to know.
Because misinformation and calling for genocide are inherently dangerous statements.
God damn it!
According to the blue check marks. Sorry, fucking stroke again. Blue check marks. Jesus.
Do you have a little stroke there?
Yeah, a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, apparently, like, he can't do this because it's going to do bad things. And what's hilarious about the whole thing is I mentioned the Saudi prince. Why does he care?
Actually, why
Be
does
glad
he care?
Elon. Yeah, right? That's the question I have. I'm like, why does this Saudi prince care about who owns Twitter? Also, be glad Elon can never be president of the United States. Why? I actually was a little sad when I realized that.
Oh, he was born in South Africa, wasn't he?
Yes.
F.
Hey man, all I'm hearing is that the blue check marks on Twitter don't want an African running Twitter.
It's just disgusting. People
I
don't
mean,
want.
it's absolutely disgusting. How racist could they be? Absolutely xenophobic. Of course, the fucking colonizers would want to keep an African man from owning things. It's absolutely shameful.
Mm-hmm.
I hope somebody complains about that. I hope somebody does.
One can certainly hope.
I hope somebody. Um.
Oh dear.
But
Is that?
yeah, no. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. Is there more to that?
Um. Not exactly, but I'm watching that one with like rubbing my hands like a fucking evil mastermind. I'm just watching it, watching everything burn. I love it.
Nice. Okay. Well, I do believe we've been going for an hour and 17 minutes, which means we have definitely reached the end of the show. Thank you all very much for joining us. Is there anything Trups would like to promote?
No, but come join my Twitch channel. I need some more followers. Please and thank you.
It's twitch.tv/TrupsyWopsy.
Yeah, true. And in fact, if you don't know what that is, I just posted it in the chat so that y'all can come and just press the follow button. I don't even care if you watch me. Just press the follow button. I'm just trying to get the numbers up right now.
Yeah, please do me a favor and go and give that a follow. We would greatly appreciate it as he pushes for affiliate.
Please, that'd be nice.
We are going to vanish now as I need to fire up my 3D printer and go to bed.
Fun story, Michael, by the way. My avatar is actually me. Well, not this version, but the original image that is actually my icon is actually me.
Yeah, just silhouetted, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you for the donation and for the likes, and we'll see you all next week.
No, another 2 weeks. I'm going to a wedding next week.
Fantastic. 2 weeks, everyone, but don't worry, there's a research stream on this channel on Monday. I'll make sure there's another one on Friday because that one's going to be a long, bloody subject anyway. So see you later, everyone.